In this second part of a two-part screencast, we're going to deal with operations on polynomials to be able to add, subtract, and multiply them.
Now let's look at addition and subtraction of monomials and polynomials. So let's say we have something like 2a to the third plus 5a minus 7, all minus a to the third minus 3a plus 2. Now crucially, each of those parts is in parentheses. If it wasn't, it would be a slightly different problem. What we're going to do is, since there's a subtraction here, let's distribute the -1 to all three of these terms and then rewrite it. So we have now 2a to the third plus 5a minus 7 minus a to the third minus negative 3a to the minus negative 3a, which is positive 3a, minus 2, which is negative 2. So we just distributed all those terms. Now we're going to group and combine the like terms. And by like, I mean things that are raised to the same base and power. So we have 2a to the third and negative a to the third. We have positive 5a and 3a. And then we have negative 7 and negative 2. I tend to just put an underline under the like terms that are in the same family, just so that I don't lose track of which go with which. So now you're going to group those. We have the 2a to the third minus a to the third with one underline. We have the 5a plus 3a with 2. 2.5, I guess. And then we have the minus 7 minus 2 with 3 underlines. Okay, so we're going to group those like terms. And the reason is we can add and subtract only things that have the same base raised to the same power. So 2a to the third minus a to the third equals 1a to the third. 5a plus 3a is equal to 8a, and then negative 7 minus 2 is negative 9. Be very careful, again, with negative numbers throughout mathematics. They can cause challenges. This is all we can do. This is now simplified. Each term family is represented only once. So it's a to the third plus 8a minus 9. Now another concept we need to talk about is the degree of a polynomial. A polynomial is something that has multiple parts, but each of the parts has a variable raised only to a positive integer power. So this is a polynomial. When we're talking about the degree of a polynomial, we're talking about, we look at the highest power term. Usually that's on the left. And that power is called the degree. In this case, a to the third is the highest power term, so we call this a degree 3 polynomial. The reason for that is it helps identify the general family it belongs to, and typically that highest power term, when you get further in mathematics and even further in this course, is going to control what happens in that polynomial. Let's look at an example of multiplying polynomials, and the distributive property is critical here in keeping track of your work. Okay, so a squared plus 3a minus 4 quantity times quantity a plus 2. We're going to go ahead and multiply that polynomial. And we're absolutely going to use the distributive property. A to the second times a to the second times 2, 3a times a, 3a times 2, and then we have to do 4 times a, negative 4 times a, and negative 4 times 2. So we've got to distribute all those parts.
So when we do all this distribution, we get a squared times a plus a squared times 2 plus 3a times a plus 3a times 2 minus 4a minus 4 times 2. So now what we're going to do is multiply out each of those monomials. So a squared times a, that's a to the third. We're adding the powers. A to the 2 plus, times a to the 1 is a to the third. A squared times 2, 2a squared. 3a times a is 3a squared. 3a times 2 is 6a. Negative 4 times a is minus 4a, and negative 4 times 2 is negative a. So now we're going to look for any kind of like terms that we can combine. And here we have a 2a squared and a 3a squared in one family, and we have a 6a and a negative 4a in another family. The a to the third and negative 8 are each in their own families by themselves. So we're going to combine those like terms. The 2a squared and the 3a squared combined add together to give us 5a squared, and the 6a minus 4a is going to give us 2a. So in the end, we have this third degree polynomial, third degree because the highest power monomial is a third degree term, and that's it. A to the third plus 5a squared plus 2a minus 8 is the product of these two polynomial parts. The second part in a series of 2 screencasts deals with adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials.